Hey everyone, I am live, hopefully. Paul's here. Hello. It's nice to see you here. And you're joining me on YouTube. Amazing. YouTube streaming to YouTube is a new experience because I haven't done it before. So we did it last night and it worked really well. And today I'm live on Facebook, and also for those of you joining on the YouTube stream, welcome, welcome, welcome. I didn't want to make too much of it yesterday because I was nervous in case it didn't work properly, but we had lots of comments from people and so on. So today we are getting ready for the second round of SEO school, and we are actually talking about the secret of epic SEO. I've been saying it was this epic SEO framework, but that is the wrong title for the video. The video is the secret of epic SEO. So I am looking forward to diving into the slides with you very shortly. I'm just giving a little minute for people to join. So if you didn't join me yesterday live, do let me know that you're here for the first time in the comments. It would be great to say hello to you. If you're joining me again for day 2, then welcome, and it's great to have you here again today. Caroline, is joining us again from Australia. I'm very honoured when people get up early in the morning to listen to these things. So yeah, it's good that you've been able to join as well. Awesome. So lots of people joining us live for tonight. So I need to sort out my lighting in front of me because it's very dark, but hopefully once this slides are shared, you'll be so busy looking at those you won't be distracted by the fact that all the light is behind me in this room because of the weird little spotlights that we've got here. Hey, the Dotty Room, my first time watching you live. I just watched the replay. Great to have you. I'm so glad that you joined me live again and weren't put off after watching the replay. It's always nice to see people come and join me live for that as well. Hey, April, it's great to have you with us again as well. April is a crochet queen. I've known her for years now, which is crazy to think about, but I used to work for a craft studio in Nottingham and back in the day, and April was the crochet tutor, and we met there, and now April's here on the live as well, so you should go check her out. Hey, we've got someone from Paris joining as well. Nice to have you with us. Ali Designs is here, learned about you through an art Instagrammer and didn't learn about you till the first session was up. Great to have you. Welcome. It's lovely to lovely to have you here. And the first session, you can go back and watch the replay. I did send an email out with the date, the time codes as well. So the replay, if you haven't watched the replay from yesterday yet, the training starts at the 6-minute mark and it runs until about the 35.5-minute mark. So it's about half an hour of the training, and then there's a bit of chat at the start while people get on live and get comfortable with the cuppa, and there's some Q&As after that as well. So great to have you all here. Kylie joining from South Africa, amazing. And Paul, who's watching on YouTube, is in Florida. So we've got quite a few people dotted around the globe for tonight's session as well. Megan is here. Still excited from yesterday. Yay, I'm so glad to hear that as well. So welcome to you too. Great stuff. Emma is in London. I'm also in London. My internet just cut out there on me for a little minute. I hope you can still hear me, and sorry if that interrupted. I'm just going to make sure, yes, my internet connection looks good. Natalie's here as well. Natalie is an amazing embroidery artist in Manchester and is a queen of a woman, and you can check her out on Instagram, and I'll share if anyone have mentioned. I'm just doing a lot of shout outs to my friends. So many people. Yeah, I'm on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Like, honestly, I'm not very, like, it's ridiculous because like all of my work is tech. So when I'm doing SEO, a lot of it is very tech-based. When I run Chiefly Given, a lot of that is tech-based and like marketplace development and stuff. And then I work for a guy called Jordan as his CMO, and I'm doing a lot of tech stuff for that as well. But for somebody who is tech savvy in that space. I am not very good at streaming videos. So the fact that I've managed to do this, honestly, I'm like 5.5, 6 years late to the game minimum for even the slowest of online business owners. So you're all here witnessing the first time I've managed to do this twice in a row. So great stuff. So we've got someone who missed the first one yesterday, and you're in Lanzarote, amazing. And Liz is in Atlanta as well. So I can only see some people's names because of the way that StreamYard works. StreamYard is the platform that I'm using to stream to Facebook and also to YouTube. So just to let you know, if I don't mention you by name, it's just because your name does it. Sometimes it just says Facebook user in the comments, but I'll go back and reply to you properly when I am in the group if needed. So awesome. So we are getting ready for tonight, and great to see quite a few people watching on YouTube as well. Welcome, welcome. And I am going to share my slides again like I did yesterday, and we are going to get started. So bear with me a second while I pull up my slides and share my screen. Just want to make sure that I'm not going to distract you with anything else. Here we go. Great. So as with yesterday, remember, once I'm slide sharing, I can't see the comment stream. So I will come back to the comments after I have finished the teaching session, and we'll do a Q&A style session together. You can ask me your questions and things like that as well. And do remember that we've got tomorrow's session when I'm going to be unpacking a lot of the really practical SEO stuff, like really giving you the sort of step-by-step that I use with clients and that I've used in my own business, and so on. So lots of your questions may also be answered in tomorrow's session. So do join me for that if you can. And also, before I start, if you want to put the date in your diary for next Tuesday evening at the same time, 8 p.m. UK time, I will be doing a marketing in an hour a day masterclass. So lots of the questions yesterday were around how do you incorporate long-term strategy into your day-to-day marketing, and also just in terms of being consistent with your marketing. One of the most important things for us to do as business owners is the activity that moves our business forward and that helps us grow our business. And we really can get stuck in the weeds of things like replying to customer emails and comments, you know, things that really aren't going to move the needle in terms of growth. They're just sort of helping us maintain our business day to day. And so when we really focus in on the marketing side of things for the first portion of our day, it helps us to focus on the things that are going to help us grow our businesses and get out to new customers and get found by more people. So I have basically created today an action-packed masterclass for you that talks about how you can do that and what tasks you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis, and how you can just prioritize marketing in a way that, you know, if you implement that, you know, in the next month, 2 months, you can see massive growth in your business just by implementing that. So I'll be doing that next Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. and I'll post some info in the group, but just let you know that in advance. If you want to pop it in your diary, more information about that is coming soon. So for tonight, though, we are talking about the secret of epic SEO, and we are going to dive into this juicy topic together because yesterday we thought about some of the mindset shifts that we need to make with our marketing in order to do SEO consistently. So as I mentioned, SEO is a long-term strategy. It means it can take a while for us to see results. And as we're waiting for results, instead of getting demoralized and not seeing the speedy sort of results that we want to see, we want to have the mindset that allows us to be consistent. So we talked a bit about that yesterday and some of the mistakes that we may have been making with our marketing, because when we highlight those and understand that actually so those things that we're doing are shared experiences that many of us have done in the past, it can help us step out of that space and do, you know, start a new habit. So today we're talking about the secret of epic SEO, and we're talking about the practical foundations now that prepare your website for success and make sure that you grow your traffic and grow your sales as you're growing that traffic. So all will be revealed, but suffice it to say that growing your traffic on its own and just getting more people to your website is not the answer, and we're going to see why now over the next few slides. So What is the biggest thing that brings results with our search engine optimization? And if you were listening yesterday, there was something I mentioned quite a few times, and we're going to get to it on these slides, but you may already be guessing where this is going. What is the one number that you need to focus on to see results? Is it the number of marketing channels that you're active on? Or is it the amount of new content that you create each week? But neither of those things matters, really. The most important thing for you to focus on is not the number of visitors you get to your website. And that might seem as a bit of a surprise to you, because you might think we're in an SEO workshop and literally the whole point is website traffic, Maneksha, so what are you talking about? But when we want to increase our sales, yes, of course, we want to increase the number of visitors that we get to our websites, but that is not where we want to stop, because anyone can increase their website traffic. Increasing your website traffic is really, really quite straightforward. It's a vanity metric. So when we talk about vanity metrics, we mean metrics that look good or make us feel good, because they're like, oh, look, I did that thing. Like me getting to 5,000 followers on Instagram is a vanity metric. I've got a giveaway going on over on Instagram. If you have seen it, then great. If you haven't, then you can go check it out. But anyone can increase their website traffic. It is fundamentally a vanity metric that's akin to how many Instagram followers you've got. The number of people visiting your website has absolutely no correlation with the bottom line of your business. So if we think about how much money you've made in a year, how many sales you make in a month, the number of people visiting your website is not the thing that we measure in order to see the success of our websites. Unless the one thing that you need to focus on right now to see epic results from your SEO, the one thing that will give you confidence to make bold and brave marketing decisions, the one thing that will help you invest in your business and stay focused on the long game as well, because it's that maths, not magic situation that we talked about yesterday. It is your conversion rate, and we're going to talk about it after the slides in just a moment. So first up, I just want to introduce myself again very, very quickly for you. If you were not here yesterday, my name's Maneksha. There's the pronunciation. There's more of an intro about me on yesterday's video, but short story is that I teach for UAL, for L Education. I've worked as an international SEO consultant for a number of people across Europe and North America, and now I teach it to creative business owners and small business owners who want to master their SEO and not feel completely overwhelmed by it. And we do it in a jargon-free way as much as possible. So just like with video one yesterday, what I'm sharing with you today is based on 15 years of SEO experience. I have been working in the field of search engine optimization since 2005. And this workshop is designed to be actionable and practical so that you can feel confident with your marketing. So this one thing then that we focus on to give us marketing confidence, that elusive unicorn in the sky where we're like, we want to feel that way. And it helps us to see not only long-term results, but it also helps us to see incredible short-term results. So the reason I'm talking about this with you today is because these things that I'm sharing with you can literally make a difference to your sales in the next 3 to 5 days minimum. So I can talk to you until my face is blue about all things search engine optimization, but this thing is going to optimize your traffic in all of these tips. Action them and you will see an immediate result. Like if you action them tonight, by tomorrow you might see your website traffic start to convert better and so on as well. So our conversion rate is the topic of today's conversation. And again, it's not directly connected to traditional search engine optimization, because in marketing, search engine optimization is its own definitive skill set. So it's its own specialism. And because algorithms and the way that search works is constantly changing and updating, it's really important that when you think about SEO and search engine engine optimization, you're working with a specialist and somebody who is committed to understanding what's changing and how that impacts your business and your website from a day-to-day basis. One of the things I see a lot of especially in Facebook groups, is people who are like, oh, I know loads about SEO because I did stuff back in 2008. But the reality is that even 2 years ago was very, very different in search marketing. So we always want to just stay aware of the big changes that are happening so that we don't accidentally do something that's a strategy from 8 years ago and it's going to end up causing a problem on our websites. So in marketing, traditionally, you'll have people who do search engine optimization and their whole job is optimizing a website just to get visitors. So it's that whole idea of like get as much traffic onto the website as possible. And then it's somebody else's responsibility to make sure that the site is optimized. It's called user experience. So it's like when someone comes onto your website, what is the experience they're having and how can we make sure that they go from point A, which is being a brand new visitor on your website, maybe to point B, which is to make a purchase from you. And so we want to optimize that experience to make sure the journey is as smooth as possible. That customer journey on your website is as smooth as possible. And so traditionally, these might be two quite separate things. But on the one side, you've got search engine optimization, which is getting more traffic. And then on the other side, you've got user experience, which is getting more sales and improving your conversion rate. But those two things need to work together if you are going to see results from your traffic coming to your website, and you're going to get more. So it's get more traffic and then get more sales. That's something I talk about quite a lot. We want to get more traffic, but we don't just want to leave it there. We also want to get more sales. And when you're a small business owner, you might, for instance, have thought about working with an agency who are saying, come and work with us for your SEO. And they might be they might be getting more traffic to your website, but you might not necessarily see an increase in your sales because your conversion rate might be lower. So I'm going to explain all of this as this workshop goes on. I know that talking about these kinds of numbers and things like that, and obviously I'm talking a bit more about the marketing industry. I'm trying to steer clear of jargon. If I do say anything that you don't understand or that you're not sure what it's about, feel free to ask in the comments and I can clarify shortly. But it's our conversion rate. So what is a conversion rate then? It's the number of people who perform a desired action on your website as a percentage. So if we have our conversion rate optimized on our website, the short-term wins are that we make more money from existing traffic. So I will often say this to people, is like conversion rate optimization can help you literally double your website sales with just a few things, but it sounds like a scam. So when I say that to people, they're like, no, don't be silly. You'll see how the maths works of it in a minute. But the short-term wins are that you can literally double your website's performance. In some cases, triple or quadruple it. So those are the short-term wins. And the long-term wins are that you can make educated forecasts about your sales. You can understand how they're impacted by marketing decisions and so on. Because if we look at our conversion rate over 6 months, say, and we say, okay, my conversion rate over 6 months is 2%, that means that we can assume that for the next 6 months, it's going to be 2% as well. And so we can make decisions about getting traffic to our website based on 2% of that traffic making a purchase from us. And again, we're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. So you get the best possible results from your efforts to increase your website traffic. So we need to have this as a foundation so that all the work that we're putting into our search engine optimization is going to yield the best results. Because again, we're small business owners, so we want to make sure that we are being efficient and we're getting as much bang for our buck as we can when we're spending time doing things in our business, because our time is limited and our resources are limited, and we want to make sure that we're being effective and efficient when we are doing things. And so our conversion rate optimization is where we want to start, because it means that anything else we do to our website to bring traffic to it is then going to see those best results. So we're all about the long-term wins because they give us the greatest return on investment for years to come. But we also know that short-term wins help us to get that all-important cash flow into our business. So why should you care about your conversion rate? What practical difference does it make in your day-to-day? So knowing your conversion rate can give you the confidence to make decisions like doing a new training course, like hiring a new team member, like paying for advertising, like working with an agency, whether you want to do that or not, starting to use Pinterest. I explained yesterday in yesterday's workshop that we get a massive amount of traffic to our website from Pinterest, but it actually converts at a fraction of the traffic that we get from other sources. And so for us, we don't necessarily, invest in Pinterest advertising, for instance, because we know that that platform for us at the moment does not convert really well. We know why it doesn't, because we're getting a lot of US visitors and we're a UK website selling in UK sterling. But that's an example of how knowing the conversion rate helps us to make an educated decision about where we invest our time from a marketing point of view. And those are just a few things that knowing this number can help you have confidence with, because you can understand how to say yes or no to opportunities. So how do you calculate your conversion rate then? So the first thing to say is that it may be, because I believe, let me just check this. Yes. So it's basically the number of sales divided by the number of website visitors multiplied by 100%. Don't freak out. I'm going to show you it with the numbers, because I know yesterday when we started talking about maths, we lost a few people. But if you've got Google Analytics set up, you may already be able to just see your conversion rate when you go onto Google Analytics. If you have a Shopify site, you may be able to see that. I can't remember what Etsy's dashboard is like, but you might be able to see it on your Etsy dashboard. Otherwise, you do this manual calculation. The first time is the worst, and then after that it gets much easier. So I'm going to give you this this number. So it's the number of sales. So say you have 5 sales in a period of time, divided by the number of website visitors in the same time period, and then that's a decimal, gives you a decimal number, and then you multiply it by 100 to get the percentage form. So let's put some numbers to that. We've got these 5 sales, and we had 250 visitors in the same period of time. So if we have 5 sales, we divide that by 250, and you can get the calculator out on your phone if you want to do this as I go, just to make sure you're happy with the process and you get to the same number that I've got. So 5 sales in a week, and then you divide that by 250 visitors, and that gives you 0.02 as a decimal number. And we want to multiply that by 100 so that we understand what the percentage is of that, and it gives us a 2% conversion rate. So that's the manual calculation for how we look at our conversion rate. As I said, you might have that on your platform already. If you're on Squarespace, you can look in Squarespace Analytics, it's in there. So you might be able to just see it there already, but this is a manual calculation if you want to double check any numbers. Sometimes with Squarespace Analytics, for instance, I found it'll say 0, but actually it's 0.4, which is a big difference, because if it's actually 0, then it means we've made no sales at all. But if it's 0.4, it means that we've got a low conversion rate, for instance. So we can look at this number for any time period. We can look at it for a day, we can look at it for a week, we can look at it for a month, or we can look at it for a year. So on a single day, it can fluctuate quite a lot. So with Cheerfully Given, in June, we had one day where our conversion rate was 13%, which is like mind-boggling. It's so high. So we had that. I'm not going to use that to make marketing decisions, because that was a fluke. And so sometimes it'll be much higher than average, sometimes it'll be much lower. But what we do want to look at is the average conversion rate over a longer period of time, because that number gives us a lot more confidence. So the longer your time period, the safer the number is to use for decision-making purposes. So if we're looking at our conversion rate average over 6 months, so you take all the sales that you made in your Etsy shop over 6 months, and you divide it by all the visitors to your Etsy shop over the same period, that will give you the average conversion rate for your store during that time. It's the same with your website, any analytics, any platform, you can do this calculation and see how it's converting for you. So I want to think about a practical example of how a good conversion rate coupled with SEO can really grow your business. And the reason I want to do this is because for lots and lots of people, you're just maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed about the numbers and about the fact that you might have to calculate something. So I wanted to put it into really practical terms just to help you feel really, really comfortable with this concept. And then after I've shown you this case study, we are going to look at ways that you can improve your conversion rates. I'm going to give you some really practical tips for that. So we have got a case study. Some of you might have seen me do this before. I shared this on Instagram earlier in the year because it's a really good case study to just really start to understand these concepts. So on the one side, we've got Laura McSocial, and on the other side, we've got Florence O'Traffic. These are two business owners and they're focusing on slightly different marketing strategies, and we are going to look at those now. So Laura has an average of a 1% conversion rate across her online shops. The average for e-commerce is 1.9%. So if your conversion rate is between the 1 to 3% range, then you are in good company and everything is all kosher. If you are below that, then there's some work that you can do to improve it. Ideally, I like to try and aim for between 2 and 2.5% as an average, because just being slightly above that 1.9 is nice. And you can see anything up to 4.5%, 5%. If you're consistently seeing a conversion rate that's even higher than that, it might be a sign that you're not getting enough cold traffic. So cold traffic is people who've never seen your brand before to your website. So we've got Laura McSocial, and she's got this average 1% conversion rate across her shops, and she starts with 400 shop visitors a week and has an average order value of £25. So she focuses 100% of her time on organic social media marketing, and that means that she's getting 4 sales a week, and the total order value of those sales is £100. So let me just make sure you're comfortable with that. We've got that 1% conversion rate. So she's got 400 visitors, and 1% of those visitors have made a sale. So that's 4 people have made a sale on her website. And then average order value is something that is nice to keep track of because it just shows you the average amount of money a customer is spending on your website. And again, it's good for planning and forecasting and understanding how many customers you need to get to reach your financial goal. So she's making 4 sales a week and she's making £100 a week. And then on the other side, we've got Florence, and Florence has done some work on her website to improve her conversion rate. So it's a really nice and juicy 3% on her website. And that is possible with Cheerfully Given. Our average conversion rate is 3.5%. So it is possible to get more than 3%. But 3% is really, really good if you are able to get that. And Florence starts with 100 shop visitors per week. So she's only got 100 people visiting her site versus Laura's 400. And she also has an average order value of £25. But she decides to focus 50% of her time on social media marketing and 50% of her time on search engine optimization. So she's picked a short-term strategy and she's picked a long-term strategy, and that's how she's dividing her time up. So at this point, her sales per week are 3 and her total order value is £75. So we might look at those numbers and think, but 400 visitors is way better than 100 visitors. But actually, we're going to see why that might be mistaken shortly. And we can also see that in this example, Laura has made more money than Florence as well. So she's made £100 and Florence has only made £75. So if we were to say, would you rather be Laura or Florence at this point? We might all be inclined to say, well, actually Laura, because she's got more visitors and she's got more money. But we are going to look at what happens over time. So over the course of 6 months, Florence spends half of her marketing time optimizing her website for search engine optimization for search engines. And that means she's getting more visitors to her online shop organically. And Laura continues to spend all of her marketing time on social media and sees a huge growth in all of her followers as a result. Because, if we're spending a lot of time on something, there's a quote and it's where focus goes, energy flows. And so if we're focusing on our social media, then we might be starting to see lots of great results from that. And that's great for Laura. So we're revisiting these two women after 6 months, and we can see that Laura is spending 12 hours a week on Instagram. Her conversion rate is still 1%. Her audience has grown to 10,000 people. So she's got that awesome swipe up function, and she's now getting 600 visitors to her website per week and still has that average order value of £25. So now, 6 months later, her business has grown to 6 sales per week, and she's getting £150 a week in sales. And we all know that we probably spend more than 12 hours a week on social media, you know, so it's really easy for us to imagine that that is a real situation. But 6 months later with Florence, she's spending 6 hours a week on Instagram and 6 hours a week on search engine optimization. And search engine optimization includes not only things like, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow, you will fully understand all of the tasks that Florence has been doing tomorrow, but it includes things like writing blog posts, doing keyword research, optimizing her site, but it also includes doing like digital PR and outreach, and it includes, you know, all of the things that involve building your brand online. And her conversion rate is still 3%, and she's getting 150 visitors a week from social media and 350 visitors a week from search engines. So she's getting 500 visitors a week at this point, and her average order value is £25. But now we can see that her total sales per week are 15, and her total order value is £375. So that's because she's got 500 website visitors, and her conversion rate is 3%. So 3% of 500 is 15, and she's got those 15 sales coming through. So she's got fewer visitors coming to her website than Laura has, but because she's been using sorry, my brain's just gone blank there. She's been using search engine optimization as well as her social media, and she's focused on getting that conversion rate up. She's seeing a much better results for her time. And then what happens a year later? We revisit them again 12 months later, and we see that Laura is spending 12 hours a week on Instagram, and her conversion rate is still 1%. She might have grown to 15,000 people on Instagram now, and she's getting 900 visitors per week. So she's got this average order value of £25, and it means that her total order value each week is £225. And then Florence, when we visit her 12 months later, she's now spending 6 hours a week on Instagram and 3 hours a week on long-term marketing like SEO. So we can actually see the amount of time she's having to spend on marketing is going down over time because she's got these really good foundational things in place. So her conversion rate continues to be 3%, and she's grown her Instagram audience now as well because she's been focusing on that, and that brings 300 visitors a week. And her organic traffic is growing and brings her 800 visitors per week. And that comes into, and I'm going to talk about this on Thursday, not putting all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to our traffic, because if something happened to Instagram or social media, Laura's business is much more at risk than Florence's business as well. So she's got this average order value of £25, and she's now getting 33 sales a week with a total order value of £825, and that's 12 months later. So this just reinforces to us what we talked about yesterday at the end of the session, that marketing is maths, not magic. And how do these numbers add up when we compare them next to each other over time? We can see that Laura has spent 624 hours a year on social media, which is a short-term marketing strategy. She's got a large following that has been built on another business's platform. So if she's building on Facebook or Instagram, then those people, that audience, actually belongs to Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't belong to Laura. And her average weekly sales at the start of the year were 100, and her average weekly sales at the end of the year were £225. So she might not look at things like optimizing her conversion rate, because on the surface of it, although the growth is slow, we can see that her business is still growing. So if she just looks at the number of sales she's getting, it might be slow and it might feel frustrating, but she can see that actually over time, growth is still happening. So she's not concerned because her business is still growing. But on the other side of things, Florence has spent 312 hours on social media as a short-term strategy. She spent 260 hours on long-term strategy, because you'll remember that over time she was able to start reducing the amount of hours she was spending on SEO because she's got that great foundation in place. Her average weekly sales at the start of the year was £75, and by the end of the year, her average weekly sales have gone up to £825. So marketing is maths, not magic. This is what happens when we take the numbers in our business seriously and we start to look at ways we can optimize our performance and make sure that our online businesses are working as hard as possible for us. So it's much better to be strategic about your time and your marketing decisions now, even if you might be getting more social media visitors at the minute in the short term by focusing on Instagram. And what are some of the things you can do then to improve or control your conversion rate? I've got 9 things that I'm going to give you. So make sure you've got your notebook handy to scribble down a few details. And I'm going to share these with you. These are relevant regardless of what type of business you run, if you're service-based or product-based. Some of them are more product-focused, like product descriptions, for instance. But if you are a service-based business, the principles still stand as well. I can talk about that a bit more later. If any of you have got any questions, again, fire them in the comments now. So what can we do? How to improve your conversion rate? So the first thing is to understand your customer's journey and how people get to your website. What are their pain points? What are the things that they've got questions about? What do they want? What problem are you solving? So when we understand that, we can look at our website and we can say, okay, well, these things distract people from that. And these things are going to sort of jar with that customer journey, and we can remove them from our website or we can change the language of them and so on. The second thing is relevant keyword research. So when we have done keyword research that is relevant to our customer's journey and relevant to the questions and the words and the language that our customers are using, it's going to have people visiting our website who are pre-qualified to be our customers because we understand what they want and we've written our website in language that they're using. The third thing is excellent website performance. So is your website loading quickly? Is your website secure? These things also impact your conversion rate because it just reinforces to people just a sense of quality and a sense of security and makes them feel safe to spend their money on your website. The fourth thing is awesome product descriptions. So if you are writing for your products, how can you create a replication of the in-store experience for your customer? So when we are in a shop, let me just see. I've got some. Here we go. I've got some awesome washi tape here from Nutmeg and Arlo, and this washi tape, if I was in a shop, I would have a very sort of physical impression of what this product is. So I'd be like, okay, this is a really good sized, it's a really good sized piece of roll of washi tape. The words aren't coming to me tonight, guys. It's a really good sized roll of washi tape. It's thick enough that I can put it on envelopes easily. I really like the colors. It's quite, the white is quite translucent. So when it's on a white envelope, that's going to look really nice because the little hearts will pop out of it and different bits and pieces like that. So I pick this up and I have a lot of thoughts and subconscious processes that I'm going through when I'm looking at this product. And when we write our product description, so often we're just thinking, okay, this is a pink card. It has the words, you are awesome on it. And we leave it at that, or maybe not even. It comes with a red card. Those things are great. But when I'm looking at this, I might think, do you know who would love this? Like Heather really loves scrapbooking and she would love this. So this would be a really good stocking filler for her for Christmas. Or Lucy might also enjoy it because I know that she sends a lot of snail mail. So there's also like a lot of things that are going on for me when I pick something up because I'm making connections in my head for people who might like it. And so when we write product descriptions, we want to replicate that experience of physically picking up a product and saying, okay, this is, here are some of the things about it physically. Here are the first impressions that I've got. This is what it feels like from a textural point of view. But also who might use this and what might they use it for and when might I gift this to somebody as well. So awesome product descriptions can really help your conversion rate. Clear product photography. And I've got such a fun anecdote here about this. So Holly Booth from Holly Booth Photography is one of my very, very good friends. She is amazing. And she does a lot of photography for people who sell on Cheerfully Given, my marketplace website. And we had this one person who had temporarily put up some images she took herself on this, on our website, and she'd sort of taken them and put them up, and they were fine, you could tell she'd taken them herself, but they weren't rubbish by any stretch of the imagination. And she had this product up on the website for 6 weeks. And then she sent the print, it was a print, to Holly for photography. Holly photographed it. She uploaded the image from Holly, and within 24 hours of uploading that product, she had 3 sales, and she hadn't made any sales at all while she had that DIY photography up. So it made a huge difference to her online shop. And it's really interesting because sort of iPhone photos, for want of a better way of putting it, do really, really well on like social media and on ads and things like that. People click through them and it feels more authentic to people. So styled photography doesn't necessarily do as well for social media engagement, but when it comes to your website and your online photography for your website and your shop, it really gives people the impression of excellence, and it can really help improve your conversion rate as well. I know that not everyone can afford photography, but I would say it's a really key investment, especially if you're going to be really intentionally bringing traffic over to your website. You just want to review it, and even if you just edit your existing photos to make them a bit brighter and make sure that your products are shown off in the best possible light. The 6th thing is strategic calls to action. So anytime you go on a website, you are looking for the thing that you want to do. So this ties into the customer journey. So we want to say on the homepage, what do we want people to do from the homepage of our website? We want, if we're an e-commerce business, maybe we want to click on our Christmas category. So we want to make sure the Christmas category is really obvious, and they click onto that. And then we want them to understand that if they want to buy a product, they need to click on the product listing. This is something that's second nature to most people. But then once they click on the product listing, is it really obvious like how they add that item to the cart? And then once it's added to their cart, is their cart really obvious? At every point, are you giving people clear instructions for the next step to take in order to reach that final goal of making a sale? And if you're a service-based business, then this looks like having a really obvious contact button, or, download my lead magnet, or whatever it might be. But we want to make sure that we're using those calls to action, and we're giving people one thing to do at a time. We're not saying, add this to your basket, and also read this blog post, and also check out this, and also go over here and look at this, because if we give people too much to do, they won't do anything. The 7th thing is really controversial. I'm not here to like have a huge debate about shipping, because I have got opinions about it, and it's not the case for every single person. So please don't feel like your takeaway from this is not go and put free shipping on your website. It's a much more complicated situation than that, because of margins and profit and all of those things. But free shipping is very often will reduce the number of people who abandon their cart. So abandoned cart is where people put something in their basket and then they decide not to go ahead with the purchase. And by implementing free shipping, you can reduce your abandoned cart quite considerably, which improves your conversion rate. So free shipping is something to think about. Obviously, platforms like Etsy really, really try to pressure you into that. It's a decision that every business owner needs to take for themselves. And I think we might be starting to see, consumers not care as much about shipping now. I personally am not bothered, because I love working with creative businesses and I don't mind paying for shipping. It's always a nice surprise to me if I get to the checkout and it turns out to be free. But it is something to think about if your conversion rate is really low. Is shipping prohibitive for people? And again, I've got an anecdote for you, but a person that I work with, they've done my SEO course, and she had no sales to her Shopify site at all. It was like really weird. We were voice noting each other, and I was just like, I really can't understand what's going on here. Like, it's crazy that you're not seeing any sales at all, because your products are amazing, your photography is great, like all the other conversion rate check boxes have been ticked. And it turned out that she was getting a lot of people from the US, and when you looked at the Shopify, the default settings were like $20 shipping or something. And so loads and loads of people were adding to cart, but they weren't necessarily checking out because of the shipping rate. She fixed that, and she literally had like 6 sales in 24 hours. So sometimes our conversion rate can be attached to other things that, the things that are going on in the background of our website. And again, that's why we always want to have that critical mindset that looks at, okay, this isn't working how I want it to. So is there a really obvious problem that I can fix to make this work? Then retargeting abandoned carts. This is a slightly more advanced strategy, but making sure that you've turned on, if you're on Squarespace, you can retarget people by email really easily. If you're on Shopify, you should be able to, find an app that will help you with this as well. But retargeting abandoned carts and reminding people that they've left something in the cart on your website can bring 30% of people back to finish that purchase. So that can also improve your conversion rate. And the final thing is re-engaging your past customers. The people who are most likely to convert on your website and make that sale are people who have already made a sale from you in the past and have been happy with their experience. So when we are doing our marketing, we always want to be thinking about the people who are our paying customers or have purchased from us in the past, because they're likely to come back and buy more again in the future. So in tomorrow's video, it's the final formal video of SEO School, because it's a 3-video series. I don't want it to be overwhelming for anyone. Obviously, we've got the bonus session exploring search algorithms on Thursday, which is super fascinating. So do join me for that. And we've got the Q&A on Friday. But in tomorrow's video, we are going to be looking at the SEO action plan, which is the 10 steps that are involved in SEO. So we are actually getting to specifically, this is what SEO is, content. Because I know that yesterday and today we haven't been talking about meta descriptions and all of those things, because these foundations are going to really set you up for success as you move forward with it. And our good SEO strategy, we're sorted. We understand the importance of how we go about our marketing. We understand the mindset of long-term and short-term. We understand that we need to put these foundational things in place to improve our conversion rate. And in the next video, I am going to outline the stages that you need to consider as we walk through SEO so you can see these really awesome results. And I'll show you also why DIY checklists on Google are not going to increase your website traffic. So for today, I would love you to go and find your conversion rate, and then you can either let me know here while we're live, or you can pop over to the Facebook group and let me know, or you can leave it as a YouTube comment on this video if you are watching on YouTube. So that brings us to an end for the formal part of our session for this evening. And I am going to I'm going to come up here and answer some of your questions now as well. So so many people find the abandoned cart stuff annoying, but what we have to remember is that we are not everybody. And so it's really easy for us to make decisions based on what we find annoying, but then there could be things that actually will help. And for me, I don't mind getting the abandoned cart emails as long as they're not really intense. I don't mind getting them a little bit, because I am so distractible as a person. I'm like the worst customer ever, because I'm like, oh, a sparkly thing. And so I don't mind getting one reminder, because sometimes I have literally just forgotten and navigated away, and I did want to make that purchase. What I do find annoying is if they send like 3 or 4 follow-up emails and it's really aggressive. So yes, anyway, let's scroll back up here and go to your questions. What would be your advice for someone who does more service than sell products, as I'm a counsellor? Yeah, so SEO, obviously I've been talking about products because a lot of the people in the group are product based, and really e-commerce SEO is its own its own little challenge, and I'll talk about this more tomorrow, because I don't want to explain too much and then not explain enough and leave you feeling confused. But basically, with service-based people, your conversion rate optimization is still needed. It's just that you have a slightly different set of parameters. So for instance, instead of product descriptions, we're looking at like the copy on your website being really descriptive and pulling people in and engaging them, and your calls to action, instead of it being check out now, it's sign up to our mailing list, book a consultation, get in touch, fill in this contact form. So the main important thing that we need to do when we're thinking about our conversion rate is just be really clear on what that conversion is, okay? So don't feel like, oh, a conversion is sale. And this gets into slightly more complicated customer journey stuff that we don't have time for this week, but it's similar, it's similar in terms of the philosophy, my words are failing me today, guys, but it's very similar in terms of the strategy behind it. It's just that the execution is slightly different. Okay, there we go. For Etsy, do we use visits or views? I would use visits personally, because it's unique visitors. If you do it on total visitors, you'll have some people who are coming back, and you want to measure like per person rather than per every visit that they do. So I would do unique visitors personally. Views are the actual views of those visitors, exactly. So Berku, it sounds like a Turkish name, which is why I said Burcu yesterday, but I don't know whether how to pronounce your name, whether it's Berku or not. But using the views thing is a YouTube comment here. Views are the views of the visitors, and so the thing that we want to track is the visitors themselves. So thank you for explaining that on YouTube. Can you talk about cold traffic again if your conversion rate is high? Yes. So if we are marketing to the same audience, we basically get like a little echo chamber that develops. So we end up with people who are our businesses super fans, and they're always engaged with what we're doing. They love us. They're completely converted in terms of being fans of our brand. And so when we say, oh, I've got something new in my shop, or here's a new service, or whatever we're offering them, they're more likely to go and make that purchase because they already love our brand. And so if we've got a really high conversion rate, sometimes it can be a sign that we're not getting enough new people into our audience, and we're not getting enough new people through that marketing funnel. So Kirsty says, just check my conversion rate for the last 6 months. Last time during lockdown, when I checked, it was 3%, and it's 4.8% now. Proof SEO works amazing. I love that. 4.8% is amazing as well. That's still in the, just absolutely banging category there. And what is good is when we're confident with that conversion rate and we're like, okay, this is good. I understand that this is working really well and it's optimized. It gives us that confidence to get more traffic to our website, so we can run ads, we can start doing Pinterest marketing. We can just know with confidence that in order to increase our sales, we need to increase our website visitors, because our website is working, it's converting. And so the problem, if we're not getting the sales that we want, is that we're not getting enough visitors over to our website. So that's why we talk about the conversion rate, because when we feel completely confident with that, it allows us to transition and say, okay, so now my job is to just get as many people onto my website as possible. Amazing. So Kirsty, so glad you found the case study helpful. I think just again, when we're talking about numbers, it's just helpful to see that broken down. So we've got someone asking, would you suggest we split our time evenly between social media marketing and SEO to start with, or more time on SEO? So I don't want people to ever feel overwhelmed, like they've got to commit a certain amount of time to something, because any time is better than no time. But part of the reason that I decided to run the masterclass next Tuesday is the marketing in an hour a day. I'm going to specifically show you how I would break that down, so I can talk about that more then. But if you can split your time evenly, then that's great. The most important thing is that you're taking strategic action. So we can split our time evenly between two things, but if we're not 100% sure what we're doing with either of them, we're not going to see the results that we want to see. So if you can split your time evenly, then grand. But obviously for some people, they might want to have 60 or 70% of their time spent on short-term marketing, and 30 or 40% of their time on long-term marketing, because of the stage of business that they're in. They need that cash to come in more quickly. So as long as you're giving some time to search engine optimization, maybe 30 minutes a week or whatever, then you're moving in the right direction there. Awesome. So I'm a shipping abandoner, me too. Occasionally, it depends what I'm doing though. So we've got someone saying, I resent paying shipping from big businesses, but happy to pay it for a small biz. I think I feel like that too as well. I look up promo codes for shipping forever, but if it's free, I'm a goer. Love this feedback. It's great to hear. As a customer, there's nothing more irritating than being forced to enter all your shipping and billing details and then finding out how much shipping there is after that. Yeah, completely understand that as well. I don't know where you're based, Karen, but sometimes that is to do with when you are like in the US, for instance. Obviously, I'm in the UK, guys. We're a tiny island. We're like smaller than Texas. And so for us, shipping is the same all over the country. You know, so I can post a parcel to Northern Ireland for the same price as I can post it to North London. But the point is, in the US, it's so huge. Continental US is massive. And so if you're posting something from New York to California, the shipping rate is actually different than if you post it from New York to Philadelphia, for instance. So quite often, if we've got US centric software or the platform is US centric, like something like Shopify, for instance, although they're a bit better at this now, but they can sometimes, the natural journey can be to force you to put shipping, to put your address in to calculate shipping and so on. Oh, amazing, Natalie. That is great feedback. I will just see if I can see if Natalie has shared that. Sorry, I am just, it keeps, here we go, right, with me. Yeah, so Natalie is going to share a screenshot of the app in the chat, so that's great. Charlotte says you have to separate your personal feelings from what could benefit your business. I don't like abandoned cart emails personally, but I look to add them to my website to see if they make a difference. Great feedback there. And it is so much, you know, so much of what we also make decisions about can be like, oh, I don't want to be annoying, but actually you're running a business, and if people are engaging with it, it's because they're interested in your business. So you don't need to worry about being annoying, because if people find you annoying, they can unfollow you or they can unsubscribe from your emails, and they don't need to engage with you further. And that is okay. We are not for everyone. That has been a hard lesson for me to learn because I am a chronic people pleaser and I like to be liked by everyone. But the point is that some people are going to find me annoying and that's fine. They can leave the Facebook group, they can unsubscribe from my emails, they can find someone else to tell them about SEO. So when we are able to just separate off like other people's experiences from our own behavior, then it really helps us to just run our businesses without going on that emotional roller coaster of, am I being sleazy? You know, is this too aggressive to send abandoned cart emails and so on? Amazing. Thanks so much, Claire, for such lovely feedback. That is so great. We've got someone whose shop is opening at the end of this week, so no conversion rate for now. That is totally great. You're in good company because tomorrow we're going to be talking about SEO. You can start to really explore what that looks like for your business as you're setting up your website and so on. Great stuff. Here we go. Do you recommend against having a you might also like function on listings then? No. So they can be good as long as they are below the add to cart button. So if we think about a website, we've got above the fold, which is before you scroll. And so we want to make sure that our add to cart button is above the fold. So it's the main call to action. And most of the time when we scroll down, then we see you might also like, or sometimes with certain websites, you'll add to cart and then it'll show you might also like. You might also like is good because it helps you increase the average order value. So when we looked at that case study, we could see that the two women had an average order value of £25 each. And with average order value, you're basically making more money from the same customer. So it's a good thing to have those, but we just don't want them to be really distracting. If you want to offer free shipping over a certain amount, how do you work out the optimum amount? Trial and error. So again, I would look at your average order value there and say, okay, so my average order value might be £29. So if I say free shipping over £40, somebody might have, £29 worth of stuff in their cart, get to checkout, realize that shipping's a £5, and then go back and add something else to the cart. And so if you have free shipping over a certain amount, you can encourage people to bump up their cart price by putting your free shipping amount just above what people normally spend on your website. What do you need to have set up on your website or in Google Analytics to have the conversion rate showing accurately in Google Analytics? You need to have enhanced e-commerce enabled, and you can Google how to do that for your particular platform, because that's different based on what platform you're on. Oh yeah, so this is an aesthetic laundry jumper. I got it for my birthday, and it's just a very happy jumper. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. And I've got my Studio Des earrings again today because I'm just always rocking them. I've got like 9 different pairs or something at this point. So we've got someone who says my conversion rate is 4.6% on Etsy since February. That seems good to me, but you mentioned cold traffic and my sales are so low. Yeah, so if your sales are low but your conversion rate is good, it means you just need to get more traffic to your site. So you just need to get more people to see that. And that looks like optimizing your Etsy listings for keywords, and it also looks like making sure that you're encouraging people over from social media as well. I'll talk about this more tomorrow. I offer free shipping when a customer spends over £40. So in my abandoned cart recovery email, I let people know this and remind them, and they have a good success rate. Great feedback. How do you do conversion rate optimization if you don't have a website but sell your products through Etsy and other online shops? Great question. So for conversion rate optimization for those, it's going to look like your images and your product descriptions are going to be really important for you. And then obviously the shipping one as well. Zoe has a 0.98% conversion rate for October. That definitely has room for improvement, Zoe. Do shout me up in the accelerator group if you want any help with that, because obviously I can give you some feedback based on the hub and stuff as well. KS asks, can I ask, would you have a blog as part of your WordPress site to bring in visitors and keep things regularly updated? I feel like I probably don't fit this in as a painter taking commissions. Yes, I'll talk about blogging tomorrow and how it fits in, because blogging can be a really helpful thing to get more traffic to your website. 1.72% conversion rate, amazing. Catherine's got 3.6% conversion rate. These are all looking really great. If we do both product and service, is it better to use 2 different platforms? No, you can do it all on one website, but it helps you just understand again what the customer journey looks like and make sure that you're not putting too much that's distracting in there. So yes, you can use the same website for both. Yeah, so conversion rate on Etsy for the year is 2.3%, and my website is 0.7%, but has no traffic except from a few repeat customers that have come from Etsy. That's really common. And ideally, what you want to be able to do is optimize your website for search and flip that around so you've got 2.3% conversion rate on your own website. Does Google Analytics allow you to see sales? You just have to implement enhanced e-commerce on your Google Analytics. If most traffic is coming direct, does it mean they are typing in my website immediately? Yes. So direct traffic implies a high level of brand awareness. So it's typically people who have already shopped with you or already follow you on social media. So when we've got a high amount of direct traffic, it means that we're not getting in front of new people online sufficiently. So direct traffic is great to have, and it's important to have, but we also want to have organic traffic coming, social traffic coming, and sometimes depending on what we're doing, we might have referral traffic coming through as well. If you're on Squarespace, you find the number of visitors to your site under Squarespace Analytics. Charlotte says my conversion rate is 4.71% for the year to date, and I think it's high because I've gone through my annual calendar pre-order sales madness. So it's mega fans buying a lot all at once. Yes, so that's really great though. Amazing conversion rate. Okay, so sorry, occasionally it just jumps way back down to the bottom of the comments, and I just have to scroll back up to find where I was up to answering questions. Emma, amazing, thanks so much for answering that question. Perfect. So we've got, since people are likely to not buy the first time and they land on your site and engage with the brand, how long should you wait to see the conversion rate if your business is brand new? Your conversion rate is you're using unique visitors by so your conversion rate it's valid no matter what. So if you have got people who I'm just sorry. When I'm thinking, it's just how I can explain something with the least amount of overwhelm attached to it. So if your business is brand new, I mean like literally a week old, then I might say, okay, I'm going to wait a couple of weeks to see how this pans out in terms of conversion rate before I start making optimizations and so on. But ideally, before you launch your website, you're going to have done some work on social media, warming people up and things like that. So you're going to have people coming over who've been pre-warmed to a degree. I would say 2 weeks. And then if you're still not seeing any sales, I would be like reviewing what that looks like and looking at ways to push more traffic onto your website so that you can just get enough data. So I would say once you've got 100 to 200 visitors to work with, you want to be seeing at least 1 to 2 sales. One of the biggest struggles for brand new websites is they just don't get 100 visitors. So it might take them 2 weeks or more to get 100 visitors. And really 100 visitors is the point at which you calculate that conversion rate, because it's the percentage. And some people buy first time. I've bought first time a lot when I've seen things that I've liked as well. So it's just the average number. So hopefully that helps. Claire, amazing. Super interesting to see your stats there as well. I do free shipping because it's easier for me. Yes. I hate working out shipping rates. It is a nightmare. So yeah. Here we go. Great stuff. So we've got someone whose name hasn't come up on the stream, but my conversion yearly rate is 8.38% and the last 39 days is 11.96. So that's an example of a conversion rate that is probably a bit too high. What I would say there is you're getting a lot of people who already know about your brand coming to your website, or you've got a really viral product maybe, but that is unusually high. So unless you are a service-based business, but if you're e-commerce, I would say you've got a lot of room and a lot of opportunity to get brand new customers over to your website and still see probably a 3 or 4% conversion rate from that traffic. So it's going to be normal if you're increasing your traffic, your conversion rate is going to start to dip as you get in front of brand new customers as well. So Zoe says, if I'm seeing a drop off between view content and add to cart, but I've had a website order, etc., and know it's working well, should I be concentrating on product descriptions first? Yeah, I think I would look at your images and your product descriptions, because it's basically what are the things that people are making a decision about when it comes to clicking the add to cart button, and those typically are to do with the creative on the page. Okay, cool. So yes, so my conversion rate is 5%, but I have very little people coming to my website. Does it make sense to look at the conversion rate from registration? Like for me, a list of counselors. Yeah. Yeah, so if you have a service-based business, you're going to look at your conversion rate. It's going to be how many people come to your website, then fill in a contact form or get in touch or book a consultation, and it'll be higher than e-commerce typically. And then your sales conversion is how many people who submitted a contact form then go on to become your customers for that's another conversion rate, but it's a different conversion point is what we would say. I'm at my wit's end, 0.39 conversion rate after 2.5 years. I think that's Emma. We talked in the group earlier. It's if you're on Squarespace, low conversion rate is a huge battle with Squarespace. It's just not a great platform for e-commerce. So I know it's really frustrating, but we're quite often the challenge with Squarespace is Squarespace itself. So there's still probably some optimizations that you can do just in terms of the type of traffic that you're getting over. But yeah, yes, keyword research advice. We will be talking about that more tomorrow. It's a whole big topic of its own. So we're going to talk about that in tomorrow's session for sure. Okay, so my conversion rate for last month was 3.1 because I did an online market, but other than that, I hardly make any sales, spending too much time on Instagram, I think. Really common, don't worry, don't beat yourself up about it. Oh, we've got someone who shared an angry face. I'm sorry to hear that. Great session. Thanks for looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, there you are, Emma. Yours is 0.3% as well. So yeah, don't worry. There's a few people where it's under 1%, and it's relatively straightforward to improve that. And honestly, any improvement is better than no improvement at all. So if you are currently on 0.3 and you manage to get up to 0.6, you've still doubled your conversion rate. So it's all lots of opportunities for us to improve. Amazing. Do you need Google Analytics as well as the analytics on Squarespace, which seem pretty good? You can use Squarespace Analytics to do day-to-day management of stuff. I like having Google Analytics installed because if you ever decide to migrate away from Squarespace, you don't lose the data. If you only use Squarespace Analytics and then you decide to move to Shopify or you decide to move to another platform, you will lose all of your analytics for like historical stuff. Whereas with Google Analytics, it will keep that in your Google Analytics account, and you can still access it and sort of compare performance as on different platforms. If I visit my own site, does Google Analytics know it's me and doesn't count it in the numbers? No, it doesn't. You have to, you can go into your settings and you can exclude your own IP address. And I've got a video for how to do that in my SEO School Facebook group, not the October one, the normal one. I will copy and paste it over into the October one as well. What is a typical conversion rate? A typical conversion rate is 1 to 3% for e-commerce. Sorry, still scrolling. Here we go. Is free returns a good enough alternative to free shipping? Not typically, because free returns returns are like a legal requirement in the UK anyway. So obviously free returns is a nice bonus, but really it depends. If you're in fashion, for instance, which can often have a high amount of returns, then it might be more of an incentive. But for me, I am buying something not wanting to return it. If you're saying free returns, the assumption is people are going to be dissatisfied with your product in order to benefit from that free return. Great. Yeah, Claire, your Etsy is fine. Anything under 5% is just good, so that's fine. Hayley, don't worry about Squarespace. It's good. If you're happy with the performance, it's great. But all I'm saying is if people are struggling with low conversion, that is something that can often happen on Squarespace websites. So I love Squarespace as a platform. I have my own website built on Squarespace for marketing with Menexia. So don't feel stressed about it at all. And if you love the platform, that's the main thing. But I'm just saying for people who are struggling with a lower conversion rate, it can just sometimes be a Squarespace problem. So don't stress though, everyone, it's all good. Yes, so basically Shopify is built with the sort of e-commerce customer journey in mind. So it just means that you're basically when people are on Shopify, there's certain ways that the checkout behaves, for instance, that are optimized to keep people moving forward. And Squarespace hasn't quite nailed it yet. So Squarespace was a content platform primarily for like blogs and portfolios and things like that. And then they added e-commerce as a function. So e-commerce is like an additional thing. And it's the same with WordPress. WordPress was a blogging platform, and they added WooCommerce, because it's open source, but they added WooCommerce, and then now you can have a shop on your WordPress site. The difference between those two platforms and Shopify is that Shopify was designed first as an e-commerce platform with the option to then have a blog on your e-commerce website. So it was purpose designed for e-commerce. So the development process when they're rolling out updates and things is just slightly different. But honestly, the best tool that you have is the one that you use. So if you're happy with your Squarespace website, then it's grand. It's just we always want to be aware of any potential limitations or things like that. So we can be aware, oh, if my conversion rate is low on Squarespace, but I've ticked off everything I know how to do, then that's a Squarespace limitation, not a problem for me as a business owner. Yeah, so hopefully that helps with the Squarespace side of things. You don't need to change platforms. Don't worry at all. So Paul says, considering SEO best implementation, can you suggest which platform is better in the long term for an e-commerce store, Shopify or WooCommerce? So WooCommerce requires more development. It is historically more flexible than Shopify, but my recommendation for an all-in-one solution that does not require a huge amount of extra development and stuff is always Shopify, just for ease of use. And here we go. So Natalie has said you've got 17.8 thousand visitors this financial year, and you've got a 2.58 conversion rate. That's amazing, Natalie. Well done. Will you be talking about keyword research tomorrow? Yes, I will be talking about that tomorrow. Great stuff. So we're running over time significantly. So sorry about that, guys. I've been answering all your questions. But because we've gone quite a bit over time now, we're 6 minutes over time. I'm going to wrap up, and okay, cool. So Amy says, when I click on Shopify sites, I feel like I know, and it can feel less professional. Sorry for Shopify. It's just their templates are very same. And when you go down to the bottom, it says Shopify. So those are all things that you can fix. So with your Shopify, you can remove the Shopify bit at the bottom. You can edit your templates really easily as well. So for some people, obviously, they're not going to be having a custom template or whatever built, but those things are relatively easy to fix. Okay, so KS has had a really different experience with Shopify as well. So we all have different things, and again, like, this is just my opinion based on my own professional experience. Like, you might have a platform that you prefer, and again, like I said, the most important thing is that you use it. From a search engine optimization point of view, you know, Shopify has a bit more functionality than Squarespace, but actually most of the people that I've worked with this year who've had really incredible results from their SEO in terms of like as in standout, booked out until next year levels, are people who are on Squarespace as well. So don't worry, we're not about to say you need to migrate away from this platform and do something else. What we just want to acknowledge is that there's different challenges for different platforms. We want to be aware of them because our approach is going to be slightly different depending on what those challenges are. So I'm going to wrap up for tonight, and I'm going to leave you to all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And tomorrow we are looking at the SEO action plan. So I'll be giving you that 10-step process, which is not as complicated as it sounds. And for whoever shared the angry emoji, I'm really sorry if you've had a really bad evening. But yeah, hopefully most of you found it helpful, and I will see you tomorrow for that session when we'll be exploring much more of the practical side of search engine optimization as well. So hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to log out now, and I will see you tomorrow. The replay and the workbook for today's session will be in your email inbox tomorrow morning. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.